Welcome back! The Doctor is in. Today I'm going to be talking about writing for BattleTech Technical Readout 3145, Lyran Commonwealth. This was another in the series of PDF products breaking down Technical Readout 3145 by faction in the BattleTech universe. This one, I believe, may have been the last of the Inner Sphere houses to get its own TRO. So they made the Lyrans wait for last. I guess because of all their assault mechs, they were lagging behind. You know how the stereotypes go about the Lyrans. What I find interesting about this one is that I don't have any of the documentation showing if I requested the units that I wrote or if they were assigned to me. I don't have any of that. So it's either lost or I just left it in an email account that no longer exists. I'm not sure. So I had to look through. I did have my original drafts, so I did know which ones I wrote. I just don't remember writing for this product. This is one of the ones that must have come and gone very quickly. Looking at the dates on the files, I wrote my units in 3 days, and I had 5 units, so I was just trying to turn this one around quickly. And let's just dig in. We'll kind of rediscover these together. The first one that I wrote was the Schildkröte. This is a vehicle, combat vehicle. It's called the Schildkröte line tank. Schildkröte means turtle in German. Real quick, I want to take a moment to discuss the way plurals work in BattleTech. So even though the name of this is a German word, the plural of which would be Schildkröten, they would just add an N to it for the German plural. That's not how the plurals work for battle mechs or tanks or anything in BattleTech. They always just add an S. So the plural is Schildkrötes, which is wrong, I know, to anyone who speaks German, but that's simply the way it works. It's frustrating at times. For instance, there is a battle mech called the Rifleman, and the plural is riflemans, not riflemen. So that's just one of these quirks of how the grammar of BattleTech and the style for things like that is different than it would be in real life. So you just have to learn to adjust to it. So looking over this, I noticed that for whatever reason, I devoted most of the deployment to talking about the same conflict instead of writing about multiple different conflicts. The first 3 paragraphs are all talking about a rebellion on the world Sapir. I don't know if I was just bored or why I did that. I can't answer that. It's been long enough, and I don't even remember writing any of this. All I can tell you is that under the notable units, there's a Lieutenant Jessica Hammerfeld. That is a type of name I would have used, and I made sure to use a Y instead of a J because I knew that with a Y, people would at least pronounce it Jessica. So I was trying to head off any sort of pronunciation questions in that respect. Otherwise, I don't know why I may have devoted so much time to so much space to the same conflict. I also wrote the Firestarter. So this is a Dark Age era Firestarter. Firestarter is one of the original battle mechs, at least as far as TRO 3025. And what we've got here is a fairly basic upgrade. It's got 6 flamers and an ER medium laser. Again, I'm reading over this for the first time in years. I created, under the notable units, a mercenary company specializing in incendiary warfare. That's fairly interesting. It's a little distinct. I probably did it because either there hasn't been one for a while or there had never really had been one. What I'd notice is that the second notable unit is Force Captain Constantine Habibula, and I can tell you right now, I definitely created that name because I had been reading the Legion of Space, of which Giles Habibula is one of the main characters. Well, a supporting character at least. So this is what I wrote. Again, I'm reading for the first time. I've got a reference to the Victoria War, so I'm doing what I did in the Free Worlds League entry into this, in which I reference the Victoria War, which was the chapter I wrote in Wars of the Republic era. And it looks like a fairly generic write-up. There's nothing particularly noteworthy about it. I'm wondering if the reason I turned it around so fast was perhaps there was a production issue. They wanted to get it out quickly. So the next unit I wrote is the Jaguar, and I don't even remember anything about this. This one's interesting. It doesn't have a designation. It's just Jaguar. There's no... And that's because this is a clan quad battle mech. So this is a Clan Wolf and Exile product. So this was when Clan Wolf split and part of it went to Ark Royal under Khan Philan Kell, and the rest stayed under Vlad Ward. The good guys under Kell, well, he was Kell Ward, became Clan Wolf in Exile. So that happened decades ago in game and in real life. And what I'm looking at is, I noticed that I called one of the pilots, I gave him the nickname Beast Lord, and I can tell you that came from reading Fred Saberhagen's fantasy trilogy, in which one of the main supporting characters is known as the Beast Lord. And I've got, again, some of the fairly generic in-universe recent history of the clans Hell's Horses and Jade Falcon invading the Lyran Commonwealth. And in this case, the Jaguars were used to help defend against these invaders. I also created a Queen's Gambit mercenary company. I think it's possible that mercenary command already existed, and I just threw that in as a mention. At the moment, I don't recall offhand if they were mentioned prior to this, and I was simply throwing them into this particular page or not. And the next unit would be the Scourge. And again, so you see you've got the alphanumeric designation, so you know that it's an inner sphere battle mech. In this case, we've got looks like I'm trying to write it up as a blend between the Shadowhawk and the Vindicator. I've got, I mentioned Abel's Aces, so that is a nod to the previous work I did writing Periphery sourcebook chapters. And then I've got, down in the bottom of the deployment, I've got a pirate hunting mercenary band. So that's, again, leaning on all the mercenary information I've written. What I dislike, if you notice, there's a big gap, a big empty space in the bottom right corner. I must have been given the wrong word count to shoot for. I always try not to leave such big bare spaces whenever I'm writing, whether it's for a technical readout or whatever, and sometimes layout affects that. But these, I remember we had a fairly fixed word count, and either I stayed under it too far, or because of the technical information in the top left, maybe it was shorter than other entries, and that's what led to that big empty space that just kind of jars my sensibilities. I have one more unit in here, apparently. The Ursa. So this time it's an inner sphere quad, and boy, I remember nothing about this. It's really frustrating to think that I wrote 5 units in this and don't remember writing any of them. But again, that's just the way it works. What I can say is if you look at how nice and full the page is, there's no big blank spot, and I'm much happier seeing this than I was on the previous mech. And again, we've got it looks like the notable unit is drawn from the deployment. So the deployment mentions a Hauptmann Jeremy Drummond, and under notable units I have Commandant Fisker Drummond as his son. Commandant is the Lyran Commonwealth equivalent of a major, and Hauptmann is captain, so that means the son got to a higher rank than the father. at least as of that period that I refer to. So that's pretty much everything I've got to say about this. I wish I could offer more insight into why I made the choices I made, but the problem is I don't remember writing any of this. So as much as I would like to say I'm a font of information about every decision I made, in this case I'm kind of in the dark as to any of the information I presented for you here today. So that, anyway, as useless as the information might have been, that's what I contributed to TRO 3145 Lyran Commonwealth. Before I let you go, why not check out Cats of War 2? This is my newest book. It's 4 original tales of military fantasy and military science fiction with a feline twist. This is a novel-length book. It's 50,000 words, and I'm really proud of it. It's got all my original fiction, and if you like any of the stuff that I've written for BattleTech, you'll know that I can write military science fiction, so why not check out my book? It's on Amazon exclusively. It's available in paperback, it's available for Kindle, and if you have Kindle Unlimited, it'll be free to read. That's all I've got for today. The Doctor is out.